Interest.
I do too.
The big one.
Good one.
A long time ago, my friends and I, this was back when I was in a band and we were on tour, the big social network we were going to start was Guy Space.
Yeah.
Where you would, Guy Space was MySpace for guys. And it was, you would fill out your bro file. and you would send each other he-mail.
No, stop it.
And it was like Guy Space. It's a dude. It was like a place for dudes for dudes who like dudes to meet dudes. It was like he-mail and profile still killing me to this day. Okay, it's 12 o'clock. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's SEO and IPAs. It's a fun weekly hangout for entrepreneurs, people who are interested in online marketing, SEO, and cool people of all shapes, stripes, and colors. As always, I'm Daniel Barrett from Two Friendly Nerds. That's TWOFriendlyNerds.com, the world's friendliest web company. And with me is Patty D'Alessio, the brains behind the operation. Percocet Patty, as she's known to her friends, from ReinventInteractive.com. How are you, Patty?
I'm terrific.
I've got to come up with a new one every week, so if it just suggests itself, I got to go for it.
I'll just feed them to you. Yeah.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, just tell me like more things about your past, and then I'll work that in there. Yeah, welcome everybody. It's wonderful to see you as always. I gotta say, it is gorgeous outside. So I think after this hangout, I'm gonna go hang out outside, maybe a little more, and do some client calls. But we've got a really cool show today. We're talking about Pinterest, which is pretty awesome. And can we announce our transitional thing now, or just let people know that we're doing it? And do you think we're
just changes are coming?
Yeah, changes are coming. Patty and I have decided to get a divorce. It's not you, it's us. We want you to know that we both love you very much. No. We are actually starting a podcast. So SEO and IPA is going to become a real-life podcast. If you love the Hangout, we're still going to try to do the Hangout while we record the podcast, so you'll get kind of like the live, unedited version. We're also getting our own website at SEOandipa.com. There's nothing there now, but watch that space. Something cool will be happening soon, so we'll tell you all about that when we know more. That's pretty exciting. Patty, let's talk about our beer. I gotta be honest, I'm excited about my beer. Why don't you talk about your beer first, and we'll get straight into it. I'm gonna kind of double fist it with iced coffee and beer at the same time. It's gonna be awesome.
Good. Well, I hope your beer's a beer and not wine this week, because
it's not wine. Yeah, Jesus Christ! You'd think I was like baby blood. It's baby blood, and like everyone's like spit takes everywhere. And
God damn it. Okay.
All right.
All right, here's what I got. It's an old standby. I'm to the point with these calls since, what has it been, 10 months that we've been doing this every week?
Almost a year, yeah, pretty much.
We have to do something really fun for our anniversary at the end of August. We'll have to do like a big...
Yeah, what's the date? What's our official anniversary?
I don't know. I mean, I think that you did the very first one at the last Wednesday of August last year, and then I jumped in.
Yeah, I'll find it on YouTube. Yeah, we'll do something.
Yeah, we'll find it. Anyway, I may have done this before. This is a favorite in my house.
Hop Devil. Cool.
Curie Hop Devil. Again, it's local to me here in Pennsylvania. It's in Downingtown. I think I did a victory last week too. Anyway, it's lovely. It's only rating, I think, an 84 or an 83, so it's not, super popular with the fans. But anyway, I love it. It's got a beautiful color. It's exactly what you want in an IPA.
Yeah.
And it's lovely. And look at the little evil hop guy. Look, it's a hop.
Oh, that's really cute, actually.
The hop flower.
Yeah, he's like hops and he's like hanging out.
And he's like Hop Devil. Get it? Right? All right.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
So cheers. Cheers. What do you have today?
Cheers. This week, I actually also have Victory beer. This is the Summer Love Ale, which is the seasonal summer one. Yes. And I'm really fond of this. I'm really fond of it every year when it comes out, and I really enjoyed it. Saw it in the thing today, and I was like, I feel like it's time to start doing the, it's like the beer seasons are not the sun's seasons, right? Like it's like summer beers start coming out in like February, and it's just like all crazy, and so it's always kind of a question of like, when do I switch over? And if I wait too long, they're all going to be gone, or like whatever. So it was nice out. It's nice out today. I've still got a hoodie on, so it's still spring. It's not summer, but man, I really like this beer, and it's nice, light, easy
That's
to drink.
a new beer for them, by the way. That just came out last summer, I believe.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I think last year was the first year that I got it, and I just really like it. So there you go.
Cheers, friend. Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Mm. Yeah, it's really good. It just reminded me of like hanging out by a lake or something.
Did you drink this at your cookout last night?
I didn't. No, yeah, you saw me on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Cookout. I did not drink at my cookout last night because I didn't work out yesterday, so I didn't drink. But I did hang out. It was very nice. You can. I'm never talking about. I'm always. This is kind of maybe a good segue into. I'm always curious about whether I should combine my personal Instagram with my business stuff.
Yeah, you and me both.
My Twitter. I don't know if I should have a separate Twitter for my business or like. Because some people out there may know that I do music. That's kind of like another big part of my life. So it's like, do I want to mix my music stuff with my business stuff?
Well, you can always just get another account because your enemies list or enemies. What is it?
Enemies list at enemies.
It is enemies list. Okay.
Yeah, and at enemies list on Instagram as well.
Yeah, I thought I got that wrong. Yeah. You have a lot of followers. Your stuff gets a lot of love.
I'm internet famous, as they say. So it'll be interesting. Maybe I'll try to do some sort of crossover. Maybe not. Who knows?
I've been wanting to decouple my Facebook for like forever.
Yeah, it gets to be. Then it's like a giant task because you got to go through and like separate it out, and it's like.
Well, we should have a whole show on that because I don't really get how that does. I think you move one to like a business, you move the whole thing over to the business, and then you build your personal from scratch. I think is the.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like when you lose your phone and you like just mass text everyone that you care about, and you're like, I lost my phone. Text me your number. Text me your number and your name. And I'm like, look,
such a thing.
You lost your phone, and now I have to do work. That's how this works. Thanks a lot.
Well, we need to talk about Pinterest, Dan.
Yay!
Show me yours, I'll show you mine. Come on.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, so let me intro the article, and then you're going to take it over. Yeah, and I do want to show our Pinterest, because I have a theory that looking at all your pins on Pinterest will give you a picture of your inner psychology, like what's important to you, right? I'm curious. So in any case, this week's topic is Pinterest. Pinterest.com is a relatively small website you may have heard of. The last time I heard, I think it was like 1/3 of all American females have a Twitter or a Pinterest account. Pinterest is becoming a huge, huge social media force, and the reason we wanted to talk about them is because very recently in their mobile app they rolled out a new search functionality. It was a sort of interesting guided search concept where you kind of type in a general word like beers, and then it gives you sort of suggestions up at the top, and it says like, oh, maybe American beers, maybe imported beers, and you click on that, and it gives you more, and you kind of stumble your way, as they say, towards what you're looking for. So it's really interesting. Pinterest, of course, is a big marketing channel for people who are into that kind of thing, and it can be incredibly powerful traffic source. Not one that I actually use a lot, but Patty, you do. You said you've been doing some work for a client. So, oh, by the way, so I'll show this week's article on screen. And by the way, if you're watching this live, you can get the link to this week's article on our Google Plus event page, or by going to twofriendlynerds.com/hangout. That's that address right down there. twofriendlynerds.com/hangout to get this week's link, and I'll put this on screen. So, Patty, why don't you introduce the article a little bit and kind of on search, and then we can kind of switch over to talking about how you use Pinterest for your client and how you see people kind of using it effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's funny. The article really just talks about one topic, and bear with me. I'm just bringing up. I took a couple screenshots on my cell phone because the article is talking about a mobile.
Did you do the search? I did that too, and then I didn't bother to take screenshots because I was lazy.
Well, yeah. Okay. All right. So now I got the two here. So what it's saying is a new feature where it's sort of I got excited because it said that it was reinventing search, which I don't know is interesting. So
something that people say every now and then.
Yeah. Right. So what it's doing is it's got two things. It's sort of trying to help you drill down, really. I don't know how new this idea is, but it's definitely presented in a new way. I don't know if can I share my screen?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
the article is talking. Let me just bring this up. Screen share. Okay. So here's the first screen you get. So I typed in boating. Have we talked about the fact that I'm a boater on this yet? I don't think so.
I don't know, but you are an avid boater, I would say.
Absolutely, yeah. So pretty much 6 months out of the year, every weekend and about 3 to 4 weeks in between, I can be found on the Chesapeake. We boat on the Chesapeake Bay. So anyway, I was creating and adding to my boating board this morning at 7 a.m.
Okay.
So anyway, I typed in boats, and what it does is it puts up this cool like scrolling feature here that that allows you to just kind of like slide. It's a slider to the left here, and you can kind of drill down. So it's like, okay, you put in boats, we're gonna extrapolate speed, crafts, fishing, and it kind of went on and on and on. And so I think I typed in. I typed in babes because I was fascinated with what would come up for babes. Hold on. So let me see here. I'm gonna add. I'm gonna screen share a different page. One sec. So this is what came up when it was babes, and it's pretty much what you think, which is pretty funny. So it was boats and babes gave me this. So the scroller came across the top of all the categories within boats. And then there's boats and babes, so it's women on boats, right?
Wow, okay.
I'm able to kind of scroll down, and I can pin. I can look at just my pins that have those two sort of categories. But, what's interesting about this search, Dan, is it's not based on just hashtags, right? It can't be. I don't think,
Well, so the article, the article in Wired, which is this week's article, which we didn't even we kind of glossed over, but what that says is that although it basically gathers metadata from pins. So what that means is that the description of the pin and obviously the hashtags that you use are metadata. So this is when we start to get into SEO, right? What phrases do you think are going to get picked up? However, it goes even further, and it starts looking at, first of all, anyone who's ever pinned that image, anything that they use. So your metadata is then added to everyone else's metadata, and then it also analyzes the language that people use in the comments. So what ends up happening is that you can't, for example, choose a category. Pinterest doesn't, for example, say in the boating category, there's going to be yachts and there's going to be babes, and those are our categories. It dynamically decides which categories exist by analyzing everybody's behavior. So essentially, much of how it's organizing things, it's just crowdsourced across everything on the network, which is pretty interesting. The thing I took away from that is that probably the things we directly as marketers have input into, like what hashtags I use or how I describe,
that's right.
That will have an effect in that a lot of people who repin pins just use the default comment, right? So when you repin a pin, usually the default description is there. You have to have a description, and only if they change it. So your default description will tend to get percolated out, and so that will obviously affect search, but you probably have less effect on what a certain pin ranked for or what it shows up for than you would, say, if you were designing a website and you're trying to optimize that website for keyword. That's kind of like what I took away from it. I don't know if that's what you took away from it as well.
No, you're right. And actually, I have a stat on those repins, by the way. 80% of all pins, Dan, are actually repinned. And I would say that a lot of people don't go in and change those descriptions, like like you were saying. I do because.
So are you saying that 80% of all the pins on Pinterest are repins, or are you saying that 80% of pins get repinned?
No, 80% of pins are repins.
So it's pretty much, there's only like 4 photos on Pinterest.
Right. No, but I thought that that was interesting, and and I can go back and cite some of these articles that I got some of these stats on, because I have a bunch of, I was taking notes. I was kind of getting my Pinterest on this morning, and I have some cool stuff to show. But
well, yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you use Pinterest? I think that the main takeaway for most people watching this, if you're interested in Pinterest, you're interested in online marketing. The takeaway from this is, of course, that Pinterest is getting into search in a way that they haven't really been in search before, which means that there's more of an opportunity for people to find your content on Pinterest. So that means that Pinterest theoretically is now a more powerful marketing vehicle than it already was. So, Patty, how do you use Pinterest for your clients? 'Cause I really haven't had a client that Pinterest is a good fit for. So
okay, well, yeah, and I have a client that is ideal for this, and I'm going to kind of case study this a little bit today, because it's super interesting. I'm getting great results. There's we can kind of look at the analytics as well, but she's a particularly good fit. Well, because Dan, Pinterest is kind of for the ladies. It's got a really high statistic for women.
Yeah, a lot of estrogen on Pinterest, but I am on Pinterest as well, and as you know, I am a boiling cauldron of testosterone. So there's that.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's a lot of really interesting research that's been put into Pinterest. There's stats and data and all kinds of stuff that are kind of coming out, and it was interesting. And I took a bunch of notes. We can talk about this a little bit later, but
cool.
And also what makes a really good pin, like what attributes a pin has that gets really good repins.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff is super interesting, so remind me, I'll get back to that. I have it kind of like here in my notes.
Well, that's like when people make pictures that are like 5,000 pixels tall, but only like 10 pixels, so it just like goes all the way down your screen. And like,
yeah, well, those, there's I found a couple different arguments for that. One is it takes up more real estate, you should do it. The other one is that's just ridiculous. But it does get a higher click-through, because you need to click through to actually read, the information on those crazy things. So, So basically, all right, I'm going to introduce you guys to a client of mine. I'm going to bring up the page real quick. Let me share my screen. But she is an author, and her name is Dr. Kellyanne. Her website is drkellyanne.com, and I'm just kind of showing what I do with her and why she's particularly well suited for.
She's got the pin of the Scotch eggs. I just pinned that the other day. The Scotch eggs. Yeah, it's a hard-boiled egg in sausage. What's not to love about that? Anyway.
It is. It's fantastic. So she is a paleo author. She's actually on Dr. Oz today, as it turns out. So she's on.
Cool.
1 o'clock today. So just this morning, I was posting up some of these like Dr. Oz recipes. But why this works for her is she falls under this recipe category. So people are, recipes are huge on Pinterest, and I have the top words within Pinterest. So these are hashtags or words that are in descriptions. DIY is huge, like monstrous in Pinterest, right? All those little like kind of crafty things. Recipe, words like cute, love, pretty, baby, awesome, hair. There's phenomenal amounts of hair stuff on Pinterest that is just incredible. Braids and pictures of hair. So it's really got the woman niche down pretty well, because we care about all this kind of stuff.
Right.
But so here's what I've done for Kelly. First of all, this is the board that I just created for her today, and this is my Dr. Oz recipes. So these are the recipes that she's actually feeding to Dr. Oz today on the show.
She's going to feed him?
She's feeding him. Okay, this picture's a little bit tiny, but so she's making it. She has it there in the studio, and these are some of these recipes. So the way that I've set up the strategy for her is we do, kind of like the name of the pin, the boards, what you name the board and how you categorize your pins is important. You want kind of keywords in there that people are kind of searching for. I use the pipe, and I kind of delineate. I always include her website URL, because as you can see, it's clickable from the description. And then we always do hashtags. Now, some of her other recipes, kind of like made a lot a lot more sense. So these are some of the paleo recipes that that I've posted with her. We always do them on Saturday mornings because this is where we've found over time that we've gotten the most reaction, repins, click-throughs. So like here, so I've got the name of the recipe here. I've got who she is, Dr. Kellyanne Petrucci. I've got the link to her website, and then I've got a handful of hashtags. So this was sort of the you know, kind of format that I use for her descriptions. Because just so you know, like if I click here at like paleo wings, I'm going to be able to kind of like dive into. Well, these aren't wings, but they should be. But like, you know, if I just did, you know, paleo, this is how people are kind of like searching. Is that you search in the search box, then up comes just a ton of like paleo recipes. So all things recipe. I think the most repins image on Pinterest, if I understand, at least that's the way it's quoted in Gary Vaynerchuk's book, is a garlic bread recipe.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, that's like really popular. So another tip here, if I can just kind of keep going, is I love this idea of creating a board but calling it sort of a channel or like a TV channel. And I don't know if you knew this, but you can actually pin video. So these are all videos with their own descriptions, a bunch of them linking back to YouTube pages. So you and I can create an SEO and IPA business Pinterest channel and have all of our weekly hangouts on here.
Cool. I didn't realize that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so these are all videos, and when you click it, I think that they play like, you know, kind of right here. You know, so it's all right, well that one's not, but yeah, they're Father's Day. Okay. So yeah, so it plays right within Pinterest.
Yeah.
I think someone asked me once if that counts as a count towards your YouTube plays. I think it might, but I'm not sure.
It should.
It should. Okay. So yeah, so that's how I do that. Any thoughts on how I structure and
No, that's cool. I like that. You know, it's interesting to kind of think of different contexts in which people might interact with certain pins, right? So you have kind of the situation in which, all right, I'm searching for a particular thing. So I'm looking for paleo wings, right? And I don't get that wings are paleo by default. So I'm looking for paleo wings.
Well, anyway,
there's no sugar in them. Yeah, okay, I get it. So you're not doing like a traditional. All right, I take it back. Paleo wing people. It's totally a valid reason to search for that. So I might, for example, be searching for that and then, you know, kind of getting everybody's pins. And so then your goal is to get your pin to stand out, right? So I might do things like put the words on the image that I've pinned, right? So I might put like paleo wing recipes that kind of stands out, or pick a particularly oddly sized image or oddly sort of, you know, like kind of what I said, like a long image, because it's like, okay, my goal is to grab someone's attention and bring them in here. Can you link from a pin to another pin? So, for example, could I have a pin and say, check out my other pins?
No. But what it does do is it'll link back. I think that you can go back to the board. So.
Can I do that in my description?
Oh. I don't know. I think you can. Why not?
Because the other thing that
URL, sure.
Yeah, because I think you know, because again, almost thinking like engagement, right? So we could say like we want people to engage with more of our pins at a time. So I might even say like, if I can't link to another specific pin or a board within my description, I might just say, here's a page on my website where I've indexed all of my Pinterest recipes or something.
Right.
So, you know, so you're kind of constantly trying to get them to do more than the one-off.
Yep. Well, so here is my strategy. My strategy is, you know, well, let me just put it this way. There's some mistakes that you can make with this, and one is where you pin it from matters. So, you know, if you have content that may live in a couple different places, what you want to do is pin from your website if your strategy is to drive visitors to your website, right?
Does Pinterest pass any link equity, or for those who aren't familiar, does it pass any Google juice if I link to my thing, or is it just traffic that that's being sent?
I think it's just traffic. I think it has to be just traffic.
Yeah, because there'd be so much spam otherwise.
Yeah. But, so if I click this, I'm going to be taken to the recipe for this particularly yummy almond butter pie, right? But, you don't... so for Kelly, and because she's she's a client of mine, I'm quite familiar with all of her analytics and numbers on a regular basis. She gets more traffic from Pinterest than Facebook, and she has 18,000 followers on Facebook. Like, she has a very, very healthy social media, and 22,000 followers on Twitter. But what this does is, since I don't have the recipe contained right here in the description, which some people do, you need to actually double click this for the recipe. So I'm driving a ton of traffic, but Dan, I'm actually not getting a lot of conversions. And for her, conversions are signing up for her mailing list.
Right.
But I'm kind of okay with that. I'm kind of totally okay with that. I think people are on Pinterest for a reason. They've got a handful of motivations to be on Pinterest, and one is to get those recipes or to search for these ideas or to build up their own boards. It's kind of okay that they're using this, because for us, it's a brand building.
Yeah,
motivation.
What would be interesting if she's, so it seems like she's really invested in Pinterest as a marketing platform. She's on WordPress?
No, she's on Squarespace.
Okay, so you can do something similar in Squarespace. I would be more of a pain in the butt. But for those, for example, use WordPress, which is just sort of what's on the top of my head. So there's a free widget or plugin for WordPress that's called Widget Context, which allows you to show different sidebar widgets for different pages. So what you could do is say, all right, I have like my recipes page or whatever that tends to be what I link to from Pinterest. Your opt-in on that page could be get my top 10 most popular Pinterest recipes emailed straight to you. So it's like, they're coming for recipes. It's a recipe-specific opt-in. So that might kind of help to smooth out some of those conversion problems, right? Because it's like, I'm interested in a recipe. I'm not necessarily interested in like your whole thing. So you say like, okay, now I have a very specific opt-in for you. I mean, you could even get even more specific than that and really be like the kind of recipe you're like, here's my top 10 paleo wing variations.
Right.
Like, well,
that's actually interesting. Do you want to watch what happens when I go? I'm wondering if the pop-up is working. So am I on a screen share?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I click here and end up on the beautiful paleo almond butter pie page, waiting to see if the pop-up comes up.
You may not get it if it's the same kind of thing. You may not get it because you're cookied as having seen it already. So you may be on a timer where it says only show it once every 40 years or whatever.
Well, let me go to the homepage. I don't know if it comes up if I go to the homepage. Anyway, it's oh, there it is. So yeah, maybe it's just a homepage idea if you enter through there. But yeah, this is the this is kind of her pop-up. But no, I like that idea. I think that's really, really super smart.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the next big thing. Just kind of, I've been thinking a lot about that for my own business and really segmenting service types to traffic types and then having different opt-ins.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like the next big thing for me. We are almost out of time, so I want to do this. Can we look at our Pinterests and see what it tells us about our personal insides? So I'll show mine. Here we go. I'll go first so you can pull yours up.
Okay.
And I got here by doing, I went to my Pinterest account and I just did pins, and then I just clicked all my pins. So these are all my pins, regardless of board. So let's see, we got trees, macaroni and cheese, offices, dads with babies, beer, a lot of iced coffee photos. What I notice is that I pin a lot of photos of things that look very tidy. I pin a lot of photos of cheesy foods, and then a lot of coffee.
Okay.
A lot of coffee. So, the other thing is a lake house. My big goal is I want to own a cabin by a lake. So it's like a lot of lake stuff, a lot of cabin stuff, a lot of iced coffee, more iced coffee. I just love pictures of iced coffee, people drinking iced coffee.
That's hysterical. So wait, how did you do the regardless of board?
I clicked on my profile, so I clicked on me up here, my name. So then I went to your profile and pins, and then I just clicked pins.
Pins. Okay, got it.
Okay. So we'll put you on, and of course I got bulldogs, because what's not to love about bulldogs? Nothing.
Oh, I love bulldogs.
Right. All right, Patsy, it's up to you now, my friend. You got to show your Pinterest, and we'll see what lies inside your dark obsidian heart. Let's put here. So you got a lot of boards. Here's the thing. It's just something I know about women and men on Pinterest. I only have like 3 boards.
Yeah.
But I noticed that the women in my life that I've seen their Pinterest accounts tend to have many boards.
Yeah. Well, I organize. All right. So I went to Paris since I've done this. So I
only got 200 pins. I am crushing you. I've got like 1,500 pins.
Do you really?
Yeah.
All right. So there's a bunch of boat stuff. There's
I'm on a boat. The T-shirt. You pinned that?
I did. Shut up. Here's the great loop, man. You probably don't know what this is, but you can actually loop all the way around this whole chunk of the East Coast.
Even on the land part?
Yeah, check it.
Oh, wow. Oh, because there's rivers and stuff.
There's rivers and Great Lakes and stuff. You can actually get all the way around. I aspire to do that trip. Okay, and then I got highlights, so I pinned a bunch of stuff to then share with the woman who does my hair.
Cool.
I've redone my bathroom. I have this breed of dog. So
I like the one where he's swimming. That's my favorite one so far.
It's awesome. It's a Coton de Tulier, by the way, if anybody cares. So there's that.
Tulier. All right.
Coton de Tulier. I don't know what this is. That's pretty funny. I kind of forget. Okay, more boat stuff. Oh my God, this is the best. This is a wine glass inside of a like sippy cup kind of thing. So that's pretty excellent.
For boating. I get it, for boating.
Yep. I have my good friend Michael Port in here. I have let's see, more nails, more boats, more clothes, more recipes.
Now we're getting into food. Food is cool.
Food is cool. This is this thing I wish I could do.
I'm noticing that you tend to pin healthy food while I tend to pin comfort foods. What does that tell us about ourselves?
Yeah, I think that's pretty bad. This is what my boat looks like on the inside. That's kind of cool.
That's actually your boat, or just
it could very well be my boat. Actually, I don't know if it's mine or someone else's, but it's the boat.
Cool.
That I have. Yeah.
Cool.
So,
I love it.
I love that this stuff seems to be really popular, like the whole outfit laid out, but it's not. There's no humans in it. Okay, wait. So I have to rattle off a couple things real quick.
Sure. All right. Finish this up.
Okay. So these are. Sorry, I know this went fast today for me. Why is that?
It went by fast. There's a lot to cover. Pinterest is a big thing. We haven't really talked about it, so I think we'll probably end up talking about. We will talk about Pinterest again for sure.
Okay. So this is fascinating. So pins that have multiple dominant colors get repinned more often than not.
So like Roy G. Biv is what we're talking about, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet?
It has to have cyan in it or something. No, I don't know.
Right.
You have to avoid human faces.
No human faces?
No human faces do not do well in repins.
That's like the opposite of web design, right? Always include a human face.
Exactly. No human faces. Choose red, orange, and brown does much better than blue. Blue does not do particularly well. And then you're supposed to moderate the light and dark. So go kind of like in the middle. And this is actually, these are like statistics on this. I read this whole article about the science of Pinterest. I already said that 80% of pins are repinned. 70% of brand engagement is user generated. So think about that. That's people going to like the brands that they like and pinning them. And the spend is higher on Pinterest than on Facebook. So it's
for ads?
For product.
Oh, you mean people buy more stuff from Pinterest and Facebook?
Yep. The average spend is $80.54, and Facebook is second at like $70-something. So anyway, it's just, I mean, it's, splitting hairs, but still.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something too. I saw something on your Pinterest where you pinned Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh yeah. He's
We
my
have to
man.
discuss. We have to discuss Buffy.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were a Buffy fan. Oh, let's back up.
Massive Joss Whedon fan. I
Okay.
love
Cool.
everything that man has created. I'm huge.
Do you watch
Joss
Agents
Whedon
of
fan.
Shield at all?
What was it?
Agents of Shield.
No. Oh shit. There's stuff I don't know.
That's his brother Jed Whedon, and he's the
Oh.
executive producer.
Oh. Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
If
Okay.
you're a comic book dork, you'll be into it.
Awesome.
All right, we have to talk
Sorry.
about that.
So good
We'll
stuff
do a whole episode of that. We'll do a whole episode of just
of Joss Whedon.
yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching. I thought this was a great episode. We covered a ton of stuff. I learned some stuff, which almost never happens because I know pretty much everything already.
Oh,
So that was
stop.
really impressive. Patty, you're amazing. Super smart. Know everything there is to know about everything. So awesome. If you caught us halfway or you want to check out any of our past episodes, you can go to twofriendlynerds.com/hangout or just search for SEO and IPA on YouTube. And we will be back. Excuse me. We will be back next week, noon Eastern Standard Time. As always, thank you so much. I'm Daniel Barrett from Two Friendly Nerds, twrfriendlynerdz.com, and that was Patty D'Alessio from reinventinteractive.com. Have a wonderful Wednesday, everybody, and please remember to optimize responsibly. Cheers.
Very good.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Talk to you later. All right, bye, guys. Talk to you soon.